We are now recording. So, this is AP Chemistry, and in May, you can take the AP test. You don't have to take the AP test, but you can take the AP test. And it's approximately $100 to take that AP Chemistry test. There are scholarships that I think reduce the cost to maybe about $45, but I think it's like a sliding scale. So it's based on your ability to pay, and there'll be a scholarship form that you fill out come May if you need, or actually probably April. And if you have questions, feel free to interrupt me, okay? Different universities have changed their policies. Yes?
Should I put myself in the trash?
No.
Okay.
So the different universities have changed their policies as to what they accept as far as credit goes. So I know at Madison, you have to score a 4 or a 5. And they will give you credit for Chemistry 103. Which is first semester chemistry. By the way, this is the first time I'm explaining this. I've been studying this for a whole month. So I'm hoping I can make it nice and easy for you guys to understand, because you can take this course for either AP credit, or you can take it for dual credit, or you can take it both. But they're different prices. So obviously, if you don't take the AP test, it's not going to cost you anything. You don't have to spend any money. Okay? But if you're going to take the AP test, you're going to have to at least spend $100 to take that AP test. And it will only, if you pass it, you'll only get credit for the first semester of chemistry at Madison. Okay? I know that UW Oshkosh, if you get a 3, they'll give you if you get a 3, 4, or 5, 3 they'll give you credit for first semester. If you get a 4 or a 5, they'll give you credit for second semester. I don't know about the other universities like Eau Claire, La Crosse, Stout. So if there's a university that you're like, that's the one I'm going to, I am going to Eau Claire, well then go look up Eau Claire and see what they do. Okay. I can say that in the past 3 or 4 years, not 3 or 4, past 3 years, they have graded the AP test harder. We used to have about, I would say, 60% would pass with a 3, 4, or 5, and maybe about 15% would get a 5, and about 20% would get a 4. But the last 3 years, nationally, only 7% have gotten a 5. And about 10% have gotten a 4. So only the top 25% of those who take the AP test are getting a 4 or a 5. Okay? And I think about another 25% or so are getting 3s. Okay? So going into this, looking at my average is about a 3. A little bit higher. So your odds of getting a 3 or higher, I would say, is about 50%, not knowing you. Okay, obviously it all comes down to you and how good of a student you are and how hard you work. But not knowing any of you and just predicting, I'd say about half of you will get a 3 or higher. Okay? And about 4 of you predicting with how things have been going the last few years, I'm predicting about 4 or 5 of you will get a 4 or 5. Okay? Now that doesn't say, wow, this class is a waste, I took it all year, I didn't pass. No, I can tell you anecdotally, because when my students come back from UW, they are getting A's and B's in UW, which is good. And when they've been going to places like La Crosse, Eau Claire, Oshkosh, they're getting A's and finding the class easy. So this class will prepare you well. Okay, we move fast, but you know, I think I do a pretty good job of making things understandable. So I'm not worried when I, you know, looking out at the audience, I am not worried that you guys can't do this class. Okay, and I've looked up all of your past grades and everything, so I'm not worried that you guys can't do the class. Questions so far? All right, so this is the first year we're offering this class also as dual credit. You don't have to take the dual credit. It's an option. And it's really kind of hard for me to say whether it's a good thing for you or not. I think it really comes down to your own individual self. And hopefully you read that email from me that I sent out, and hopefully you shared it with your parents. Because if you decide to take this for dual credit, you need to like sign up ASAP. That's as soon as possible. Because it'll take them a little while to process it. And if you take the dual credit through Oshkosh, it'll cost you $500 for first semester. And that's our class from, so I'm just going to write first semester. And if you want to get second semester, it'll cost you another $500. If you were to have to pay for these credits in college, it would be about $2,500. So Oshkosh is charging you, this is for 5 credits, 5 college credits. Whereas if you waited to go to college, it's going to cost you $2,500. So obviously this could be a huge savings for you by taking the credit now. All you have to do is pass the class with a C or higher. No, D or higher. All you got to do is pass the class and you get the college credit. Now obviously you don't want to pass this class with a D. That's not going to look good because this goes on your college transcript. So you'd start off in college with a D. That's not good. So obviously you want to pass this class with a B or higher. Now I can tell you that for the most part, I would say 80% of the students in this class get an A or a B. Okay? And the only students who don't get an A or B in this class really are students who don't turn in materials. I mean, homework. Really, labs. Homework, when I hand out the syllabus, is not worth a whole lot of your class, a lot of your grade. It becomes more and more like a college class. Homework is only worth 10% of your grade. So enough to make you do it, but not enough to fail you. What's going to fail you is not turning in the labs. That's 40% of your grade, and that's how people fail. And also seniors. Because some seniors decide that they're just going to stop doing homework and showing up in April. They fail. But if you're coming every day and doing the homework, doing the labs, you're going to get an A or a B. Okay? So I would not worry about you not passing the class. Now, it might be an A minus, it might be a B plus. So just to let you know if that's a concern for you, if you have to protect your 4.0, don't take this class. Okay? But people always say, well, I want to be a medical doctor. Well, then you better take this class. But I want to maintain my 4.0. Well, then don't take this class and don't become a doctor. Because at some point, you're gonna have a class that gets really tough. And now it's probably gonna be this one. All right, so. Questions so far? If you take the dual credit, you have up until October 11th to drop. What means that, like in college, the lingo means you drop the class, no harm, no foul. No penalty, no nothing. It's like you never even signed up. You don't owe them any money. Nothing shows up on your transcript. It's like you never even signed up for the class. But after October 11th, you owe them $500. If you drop. So you drop October 12th, you owe them $500. And on your transcript, you'll say WD for withdrawn. And that's not the end of the world if it says withdrawn. It would only look bad if you had in my opinion, if you had lots of classes that say withdraw. Because then it's like, why you keep signing up for classes and dropping them, okay? It's not unusual for once in your college career to like have one class where you withdraw from. And if you were in a job interview, they're not going to ask you in a job interview. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about having one. I would worry more about getting a D in the class and then having your college transcript start off with a D, okay? Because the assumption is all of you are going into science, and that you need to take chemistry. Now, once in a while, I do have a student who wants to be a music major, but they're taking AP Chem anyhow, okay? Yeah, I know, I did a couple times. One was gonna be an elementary education teacher. I'm like, you know, you're not gonna teach 6-year-olds this stuff. And she was like, yeah, I know, okay. But for most majors, you've got your degree requirements and then your major requirements. So like your degree requirements are things like 1 year of social studies, or 1 year of English, or 1 year of foreign language. But your major requirements are like what you are, your core stuff. So guess what? If you're going into science-related field, you're going to have to take chemistry. So you don't want on your college transcript you starting off with a D, because you're going to have to repeat the course in college. So that's where it's kind of a, you know, I can't advise you to say, yeah, do this, because suppose you sign up for the dual credit and you get a C, but your major says you must have a B or higher. And I believe, and I don't, well, this is where you have to go into each university and look. I believe at Madison you have to maintain a 2.7 GPA in all your major requirements. I think psychology back in the day when I was in college, it was a 2.0. So, you know, so that means if you start off with a C in college chemistry, that means you're gonna have to do much better in your other classes to get your GPA up high enough so that you can get that major. Okay. Questions? Okay. So how does this compare, how does our class compare to UW to compare to Oshkosh? So I'm gonna write down these names. Let's see how I'm gonna do this. Okay, so let's start with Verona. And from September to January, we are going to cover, I didn't grab it. One second. We'll cover mole, stoichiometry, oxidation reduction. We will cover thermochemistry. We'll cover gases. We'll cover quantum.